Welcome back.
NicknLex here.
Hey everyone.
How's it going, guys? So tonight we're super excited. We are doing our first interview ever, and we're
so honored.
Yes, we're honored. So Alexia.
Okay, so we are going to be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Hernan Romero, and he is someone who played with Aldi Meola, Paco de Lucia. He has an amazing solo career that we're going to be focusing on and talking about. He is a Grammy winner for his 2002 album Un Segundo, Una Vida. This is Argentinian guitar virtuoso Hernan Romero. Hi, Hernán. How are you? It's so good to finally be with you. And after months of trying to make this happen, we're so happy that we finally have you here with us. How are you today?
I am so happy to finally meet you. I am a big fan, and I stumbled into your channel, and I fell in love with the way you guys do, all the reactions. And when I saw that you did reactions with like people that I work, I was like, oh my God, I gotta contact these guys.
Yes,
so great.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what we were just saying, that were you talking about Aldi Meola when we did Aldi Meola's reaction, that you were just shocked with that?
I was shocked because I was, like the second record I heard when I was 14 years old that my brother brought home was Romantic Warrior.
Oh.
And I was like, what music is this? I was blown away. And my first one was Genesis. It was Celine England by the Pound. And when you guys did that too, I was like, oh my God, I gotta get in touch with these guys right now.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad.
Yeah, you guys are terrific though. Really great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's so great to have you here. There's a lot of stuff that we want to talk about, and from what we've gotten to know so far from you, we just had the best time with Hernán.
Before this recording, we were talking for about like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I wish we could have recorded, but it's more, to get to know each other. But you're such a nice guy, so it's such a pleasure, really, to have you.
Me too. We gotta do stuff. I mean, it's good because we are spontaneously.
Yeah,
I always it's like I always say when I record, first take is the one, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't press record and it's the best one. And
yes. I tell Nick that all the time when he's playing guitar. I'm like, were you recording that? He's like, no. I'm like, of course you weren't.
Oh, no.
Now it's
and
not
then when you try to
the
do it, then it's not happening because you're so aware and you're like, oh, now you're like under the microscope,
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
but like, what was the first video that you saw of ours? Was it a Genesis video?
It was a Genesis. I think it was Supper's Ready, which is
that's such a good song.
And the way like you and Nick, I mean, when I watch Nick doing it, it's like it reminds me of me, because when I was like, when I was young, I was playing all the instruments. So I was like, okay, the bass, I'm gonna make the face of the bass player, and then the guitar is the face of the guitar player, and every instrument has a different face. And then and then Alexa with the shake it. But the way I used to listen to music when I was young was like I was telling my friends how to listen. The way you do it is like, okay, listen to the bass line. And they're like, what do you mean? And then focus on the and everybody start to learn how to separate all the parts. And that really is good for your brain, because it's almost like later on when I went to college and I did all the music, I studied a lot of music and I write for orchestras and stuff. You have to kind of like know how to identify and listen and separate the instruments.
Yes.
It's very cool. It's very helpful what you guys doing to people.
It's something that I've honestly learned and kind of honed in on since we started the channel, because one of the reasons that we started it the way we started it, where we react to the music first instead of the live and we don't read the lyrics and stuff, is because I was always about lyrics and, oh, it's so cute. And Nick was like, no, listen to this.
Listen to the music. Yeah.
Don't listen to the lyrics.
And I remember,
it's a perfect combination.
Exactly. And I remember showing her music and she would not get it. She was like, it's too much. Like, and I'm like, no, but just like, I think it was just too much at the time.
Yeah.
Like, remember when we did the first reaction and there was like a lot of guitar parts,
Right.
and she was like, oh, it's
Very
so
busy.
It's like too, and now she can listen to anything and she's like, wow, nice guitar. It's so, you literally learned
Yeah,
how to
but it
listen.
is awesome
like
that you
you.
had that since you were a child, but you grew up in a musical environment at home, right?
Yes.
Tell us about your mom and your dad. I'm dying to know more about your mom.
Well, my mom Estela Raval. I mean, first of all, it was the greatest mom ever because my mom was so warm and she took us everywhere. I mean, and they made me record when I was like an infant. You know, they used
Wow.
my dad had a record. My mom was a Colombia artist for like all her career, and she won so many like gold albums, and they were big sellers. And they play at the Ed Sullivan show.
Wow.
7. I actually have a photo. I gotta show you this because I don't know if you can see it. This some. I mean, this is insane because if you play, let me see if you can see it.
There, it'll focus.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's my mom, my dad, the Cinco Latinos, and Ed Sullivan in '69. So
My
they
gosh.
flew my mom. I mean,
Wow.
to New York. Gave you $5,000. I mean, in '69, which is a lot of money. And you
Yeah.
played a 2.5-minute song, and you made it. When you played that show, like the Beatles, I mean, all the big names. So there was the only like Spanish Latin American band that performed at the Ed Sullivan. So imagine, my mom was really huge. So when I was a child, there was
so
instruments everywhere in the house, and I grabbed one of these ones, and I went like this, and I played, and I was like, "That's it." And I started to play it, and my mom's like, "Oh, wait a minute." So then, of course, they sent me to study with Roberto Lara. I'm classical trained, right? But for me, it was like it made total sense. I was like, "This is it." And now I play like piano and all other instruments, but guitar was so easy for me. I'm sure for you, Nick, like you all like, and that's it. It belongs to you. It's like,
yeah. Well, I started like I think with like 16. I think you started when you were 4. Right? Like,
well, 4, I recorded vocals. I was singing, and I had a couple of like songs that I recorded on this project called La Familia Telerín. Vamos a la cama. Ta, ta, ta. It was like and I was one of those kids that sing that, and then I sing solo because I was very in tune. But then playing guitar, I started really when I was 6. Like
okay.
Wow.
Wow.
That's very early.
That is very early. Yeah, you were like 16.
Yeah, 16.
Right? Yeah.
So even though my mom was very musical, but I wasn't pushed and I wasn't in the environment. I mean, yes, my dad was like always around musicians, but I didn't have that. Like there was no guitar.
It sounds like your parents were very supportive of your career.
So cool.
But they were like, "Hey, you're on your own." They were like, "Oh, you want to do this? You gotta." When I played with my mom, she made me audition for the band, and I couldn't make it because I didn't read music well then. And no, man, you gotta. I went back and studied, and then I joined the band. But she was very like, okay, you want to do this? Hey,
she treated you like everybody else.
That's awesome. That's the way you should. Yeah, that's the way you should.
And she was no preferences. She was like, okay. And
that's
nice. Of course, I was the loudest in the band, and I became the musical director in a year because I was like, I'm so bossy,
Wow, I love it. I love it.
I'm like,
so where did you study? What school?
Okay, I studied first of all classical music with Mariano Moruja, which is one of Andres Segovia's disciples, great guitar player.
Andres
Segovia. And so classical, and then with Sirigliano in Argentina, which I think Pedro has not also studied them. And then when I came here to America, I was 18. I went to Five Towns College, and I did a double major. I was teaching already because I already knew how to play. So that paid for my school, and I was a major in audio engineer because I love to record. That's why I produce, because I thought that knowing also how to record and about sound, it would help you, and it did, because I ended up producing a lot of people, and I love recording, and I record my albums, and I'm very I love sound, you know what I mean? I think sound is something that even when I play live, I use great mics and try to sound good,
It's important. It definitely is, because it makes all the difference. We've seen concerts where it was like, oh, if only it was a loudder, if only the sound was better, and you feel like you missed the experience if the sound is not there.
Like, for example, when we went to see Steely Dan, it was not loud enough, but
I'm
still like, I wish it could sound as loud as it does from my TV. Because it felt like it was so far away, but that's so cool. And so, but you studied in Manhattan, right? When you studied music.
Yes,
That's,
yes, yes, yes. I went to Manhattan School of Music too to do. I did the masters there on music, and it was really great. But to tell you the truth, I already knew music, so I didn't really learn anything in college. It was more like because I studied so seriously when I was young. Like the programs that they were offering me were like kind of like, oh, I know, and I was the only guy that played like finger picking, you know. So
That's
I
what I
was
noticed. I noticed that you don't use a pick. You don't use a pick.
no pick and no nails. I all flesh, and this is one thing I think when I was like my dream was like I don't want to depend on a nail or filing the nail, you know, because you break a nail and then you're like, what you do? So I really worked on that technique to try to do, you know, like almost like a bass player does, but you know. So and the sound is warmer and fatter because you know you get the flesh. You know, when you get the nail, it's thin. It's like a pick. You know, the pick has a lot of attack, but it's thin. So
that is so funny that you say this, because I had a friend who was giving me guitar lessons, and then one day he broke his nail and he's like, I can't teach you. And I'm like,
imagine.
And he was struggling.
Yeah, and
like,
what if you have a
and
show
I was like,
that
well,
night
can
or
you like
something?
teach me like anything, you know, like some chords? And he was like, well, I guess yes, but he's like, he was just really
like bothered. Yeah.
Well, the problem is like, you know, the instrument will always conquer you. You know? I mean, you know, this is my thing. The guitar will always win. I always lose. So the main thing is like try to be part of it. And I'm like, if you're on a concert and you break a nail, you have to like Paco happened to Paco. He like will glue his toenail into. I said, what is that? He was like, what is that green thing in your finger? And it's like, oh, it's my toenail. It's like, ew, you know, but you know.
That's amazing.
You had to play it. And it was like, you know, I have to do it. So you will cut it and it was disgusting.
His toenail.
Wow. Yeah, but that's also like imagine like for example Al Di Meola, he plays only with a pick, right?
Right.
He doesn't do finger style, right?
No,
at all.
Well, he's doing now something that is like he plays with a pick and uses two fingers to do
like hybrid.
Work. Yeah, like so that's pretty cool. You know, I think that because the new album that we working is more like a solo thing, so he needs to play some sort of harmony too. So it's cool. You know, it's actually quite nice. Difficult to do that, you know.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I love that because she likes when I do the the finger picking because it sounds really warm.
It sounds very much warmer.
But I can't do the fast, like I can't do that.
Yes, you can. Yeah. You know what you do it, you just do it slow and you
I'll practice.
Just like you do everything else. You first slow it down and then you go. So
that's the way to go. If you want to run, walk first. And I always say like I have a very fast right hand, right? So I do like a lot of like I can speed up and go super fast. But the way to do that, you gotta kind of like do slow.
Yeah.
Groove and then build it because if you can't, I mean you can't just be fast without being you have to be clean. You don't want to be sloppy.
Exactly.
Right. That's true. And how would you describe the music that you create? And like, has it changed throughout the years? Like, just to let others know, I mean, they know you've played with Al Di Meola, they know you've played with Paco de Lucia, but how do you describe your music?
It's funny because, like I said, I grew up with progressive rock. I mean, like I said, my first record was Genesis. So I'm a Genesis. I love Steely Dan, Johnny Mitchell. It's so many. Jaco Pastorius, Seru Girán. I know that you guys did something.
Oh my gosh, I love them.
I love Seru. So, and I love classical music. So I hate to put a category on what I do. You know what I mean? I think I'm a world musician that I can't even play metal. I love metal. I love Tesseract. I know bands that like, I like bands. I like anything that is good music, So unfortunately, in this world, people put you on the category. I mean, I'm not considering myself a polka player, of course, but I like all kinds of music. So I think my music is very wide. I mean, even though it's mostly instrumental, even though I sing, but and I sing in Spanish, so that puts you in a category already.
Yeah.
And my technique is I have a flamenco technique because by technique, it's like the way I play, it's got the flamenco influence. But I also love Astor Piazzolla, you know, so it's just, that's a very tough question to answer, because I think I will leave it up to whoever's listening.
Yeah.
Whatever movie you want to make in your head.
But I think that's a great answer,
That's
to say,
perfect.
like, you know, my music is worldly. I have a fusion of all styles, and you can hear it when you listen to his music.
Yeah,
it's not just like, but like you said, it's not like polka, because polka is very specific, like
Right,
you know, and it's definitely nowhere near that, but
yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
he can play.
Hey, I did it.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah,
I'm a polka player.
Yes. So you said, so you're part Italian, and so your dad or your mom was Italian? Your mom.
My mom was Sicilian.
My dad too. There you go.
That's why I like you. And I know that, you know, it's funny, because somewhere, because I'm very like skinned, right? So we did the tree, you know, when they trace you down. And
we did that
some
too.
Austrian somewhere in there. So I have some German blood there somewhere.
There you go. Yeah, like a
so, and my dad is like Italian and Lucian, so it's kind of like, you know, we all come from Europe, and you know, especially in Argentina, everybody like immigrated there, like in America. And it's cool, you know. But definitely, I love the Italian. To me, the Italian food.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love Italian food.
My mom was like, she's French German, but she was the best Italian cook, because my dad was very like exigente.
Yes.
Exigente.
He was very
he was like, you have to make
la cucina perfecta.
Yes. And then the gnocchi had to be gnocchi,
and
but
it had to be al dente.
They had to be made handmade, not
by hand with I love that.
I mean, the spaghetti and everything she would buy, but gnocchi were like handmade, and I would see the process, like, wow, that's hard, you know.
Yeah.
But it was so
table,
good.
on the table with the flour, right?
Oh my gosh.
He was very he was very picky, but I mean, it was good for me.
Yeah.
Because always there was always great food. I mean, you tried my mom's food.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, her Italian food was the best. Absolutely the best.
It's like at the Mexican side, which is we love it too.
Of course.
Yeah, leave that. Listen, to me, Mexican food is the perfect food, because you get the protein and everything. You know, it's so great.
But
everything.
I saw one time that if you like see Mexican food, everything is the same. So like it's tortillas with like your protein, and they're either chopped up and fried, or fried as a tostada, or like rolled up.
But you see how creative they can be.
And they put lettuce inside or outside.
Yeah, but it's like, it's so creative though, because Mexican food, like you said, is literally
same ingredients.
Flour, and then meats or protein and vegetables, and then you can do 100 variations.
Yes, exactly. Cheese, cream.
With fish tacos, I love fish tacos.
Ooh, those are so good.
I'm starving right now.
I know.
Let's go back to the music.
yeah, let's not talk about
food. Man. Well, what was it like when you how did it happen where you got your first gig? Like, who was your first gig with? How did you, I mean, I know your mom was very involved in the music industry, but what was your big break, so to speak?
Well, you know, and my first gig was with my mom in my mom's group, and I traveled the world with her, which was a big deal. And he told me this, and then when I came to America, I started like being a freelance musician. And a friend of mine at the time, I was on a tango project called Buenos Aires Connection.
Okay.
And Pablo Aslan, which is like, it's funny because I think Pablo Aslan was the guy that introduced Pedro to Pat Metheny.
Oh, wow.
And Pablo took me to see Al Di Meola in Club Benet, because he was playing tango with Dino Saluzzi. And I was there, and it was kind of like we both I ended up working with Al, and Pedro ended up working with Pat.
Wow, that's awesome. Crazy. Yeah. He made great connections.
Kind of,
well, yeah. So it was like, you know, of course, when I joined Al's group was so great, such a great experience, because I think the first thing I did with him was a record called Heart of the Immigrants, and I sang. And then after that was Orange and Blue, which is like one of my favorite. We did the album. I sing, I play guitar, and I help with the co-production, la coproducción. Ahí empezaron los errores.
Está bien.
Y ahí hicimos a world tour, and it was so great, because in that record we have Peter Erskine on drums, Steve Gadd, and Manu Katché.
Wow.
Steve Gadd, who we played with, of course, everybody knows this, but with the Steely Dan. Wow, you're so lucky. That's amazing.
And then on bass was Mark Johnson and Pino Palladino.
Wow.
Incredible. So it was a dream record, and then we did it at the Power Station in New York, and I was like, oh my God. So then we did a world tour, and then I did projects with Al on the World Sinfonia, one record called The Grand Passion, which is beautiful, most of Piazzolla stuff, and it was great. And Al was a great experience. And then in 2000, I got a deal with Sony with the label called 333, and I did Un Segundo Una Vida.
Okay.
Then I started doing my solo thing.
And that's the Grammy-winning album, right?
Yeah, it was around.
How did that feel? Like, how did that feel to win a Grammy? That's like, it's like an Oscar, right? Like literally.
Well, the awards are great. Like I said, I mean, of course, like my mom won the Life Achievement Award, which is like the biggest award. It's like, I think, and they flew me to Vegas to be part of it, because my mom was like, after so many years, was never really in the States as an artist, like, and I went there and they gave her the biggest. It's called the Grammy for the Excellence in Music. So it was like, wow. I mean, they gave it to Michael Jackson like that. It's just a really big honor. You don't get voted; they give you that, which is really beautiful. And I was very happy, And then I got, it's to me. Honestly, I don't think you do this for the awards now. I mean,
no,
that's good.
So I must have been, you already had lived a life like this, like your mom got this amazing award. So it was like, okay, I guess, right? For you, like, it was just natural.
Also, I think what you do this, I mean, honestly, you do this because you love it. I mean, to me, it's not my job. It's like who I am. I mean, to me, it's like the biggest paycheck that an artist can get, or I can get, is when I play and people clap and they love it. And they come and they tell you, oh my God, your music moved me or something. That's, to me, it's something like, I don't know, maybe it goes to your ego and it makes you feel good about it, but also you feel like you're doing something in this life that is like maybe important,
Yes.
And then like I said, when I met you guys, you to me, what you guys do is educating and showing like a path to people to listen to music that is beautiful. And to me, that's a big mission, that you are, I don't want to say influencing, but you are helping people find things that if it wasn't for you guys, they would never know that exists.
That's absolutely something that we thrive on in the comments when they say, I've never heard this song before. I've never heard this artist. I just bought the album. And we just get such a good feeling.
And we
from
also
that.
like, and then we try, like what I was trying with Alexia is to choose music that was not commercial. Like we were doing like deep cuts. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna play her some Iron Maiden, but I'm gonna play her the Iron Maiden song I've never heard live, and that's what I'm gonna show her. So not like the super hits. I wanted to do, and people were like, "Wow, you play." Like, because there's of course a lot of reaction videos on YouTube, but they told us like you do stuff that nobody really does that much. So that's how we kind of started.
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed about you guys, and this is honestly, I wanted to say this because we were talking before about the attention span on people, like they're so short. Like I see, like people can't focus for over a minute. The eyes are like, So when you do this, and I see that you really get into the story of the song and the plot of the drama that unfolds. It's like a journey, and your brain starts to work in a different way because you start to get senses of what's going on. And people just want like immediate gratification, like they want to feel good, and then next. And it's not the way we listen to music, and I think
No.
we listen to music to. First of all, you guys do it together. They look at each other, and it's like a beautiful bonding, you know.
Yeah.
And that I when I saw you guys, I was like, this is really happening, you know. This is really great, and I wish. I mean, you guys are like such a help for artists like me, because it's like nobody knows what I do. You know, if it wasn't maybe for you guys that so like listen to this, you know, open your horizons a little broader. You know what I mean? Because it's important, you know. And I'm very happy that I stumbled into you guys for real. Yeah.
We're so honored to have met you. I mean, it's like I can't believe it.
Yeah,
so
it's so crazy how many lives like we've touched, how many people have reached out saying you make my day, or I really needed this today, or I love this artist because of you. I started listening to them, now they're my favorite band, and just creating like that community of just sharing music with each other and sharing music with friends. And now, you know, sharing with you your experience and getting deeper into that. It's just awesome how this path has led us here, you know?
And it was all by accident. We're just like, because we were literally stuck in like a loop. We were not listening to music.
Yeah,
I was
during
listening
the
to
pandemic.
just my music, and she was listening to her music, but we never sat down together and like, let's listen to music. And now it's like, it's really good. And we can watch those videos.
No, the great thing is like what you say, Nick, before, like that, you know, like maybe Alexa was more into the lyrics and everything, and all of a sudden with Nick, you starting to show her, like Alexa, like more like the you know, the instrumental, which is like, you know, I think it's also like lyrics, because you can make your own interpretation of whatever, like, you know, it's like especially like Genesis is like, you know, it takes you on a trip. It's very trippy. I love that.
I know, they're so good. I can't believe that, because we were always, basically the first day we met, the first day we met was just like a day we met, and because I was playing guitar and she saw me and she was like, oh, but that's it. But we never talked.
Awesome.
And she was like, no, this is like, this guy must be married or something. You said something like that, right? And I'm like, okay. But then we sat in a car together, and the Dark Side of the Moon was playing, and everybody was like
just
on
talking
their phone,
over,
and we were singing. We were like singing like Time, right? Taking away the moment, and we're like, you know this song, you know the lyrics, and she's like, you know the lyrics, and we were like bonds. That was the first bond that we had. Right?
Yeah, so, because growing up in the small town that we grew up in, a lot of people,
nobody knew.
That's why a lot of people sometimes are very skeptical with our reactions to Genesis and Yes and Steely Dan, because they're like, there's no way you have all those guitars in the background and you don't know this song. And but they don't understand that we had limited access to stuff, and it was in a time when
living in the 90s and the early 2000s, you had literally to get a record. You had to like
buy the CD, and it was super expensive.
They were super expensive, and you had to order them like imports, and it was just impossible.
But you know what? I'm sorry. You know what? I know that was difficult, but it's also the excitement. I remember also waiting for something and saving
it was
stealing money from my parents' purses or something, and then all of a sudden I got the album. I bought like the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
It was like it was like a treasure when you would get that CD and peel off the plastic, and then the booklet, like you could smell the booklet and go through them, and that's actually something that we wanted to ask you too.
Like really the difference between digital streaming services that we all use today, obviously guilty, but the difference between that and purchasing a CD. Like personally, obviously now you've said you prefer that, but as an artist too, how have you seen that as a change as an artist, where people used to purchase CDs and now they're listening to you on streaming services?
Well, I think it's like now we have to adapt to a new era, right? But the thing I think is I miss the magical like the excitement of and the expectation of something, and also the artwork. Because imagine you have a phone, right? Everything is in your phone. Your life is in your phone. Your GPS, and it's very convenient and it's very cool because hey Google, whatever, take me, order me a pizza, and you get a pizza. Just it's like really convenient. But for an artist, like you go to Sixtine Chapel and you see a beautiful painting on the wall and you smell that. That's something that you cannot get. You know what I mean? Or like Nick was saying, you open the CD and you smell that, yes. And you look at the artwork and you read the credits and you spending already like 25, 30 minutes like reading and learning. And it's something that I know that you probably can do it now. You go on Google and you find everything. I'm not putting it down. I just think that reading a book and touching the paper is something very magical about it,
Yes.
And it's something that I think people need to experience, what I mean, besides the comfort and the convenience of having the technology right there for us.
Yes, and that's why we collect too. We're collectors
Movies.
of movies
Oh
more than anything. But now, as you see, thanks to everyone, we've got all these CDs here, and because people that watch us also think that there's some importance to that of owning something physically and touching it and looking at it.
Yeah, a lot of people are very purists. Like they just buy the music on CD. Like
my
Rudy,
dad,
your dad, they don't purchase. I've never purchased an album digitally. I want the CD. I'm still like old school,
What about vinyl? You guys like vinyl too? Do you experience that?
Yes. I mean, we have a few in the back that the one behind.
We have some more in the living room, and that's where the LP.
We started actually buying vinyls in 2011 when they were like 40 cents, 60 cents.
We still have some with the sticker $1. Yeah. 75 cents.
Yeah, this one behind me. The Kansas one, it says 99 cents. So that's
and what
amazing.
About you got Crime of the Century? I see that.
Yeah. That one, and we bought those two together, the Kansas and the Supertramp. And then that's the first time I heard that album was that exact LP that's there. In my little studio apartment in Seattle when I was in college, Nick bought it and he's like, you're going to love this. And I had heard Breakfast in America. Yeah. And then when that song, when school came on, it... Oh my gosh. It's like, oh my God.
We have the same minds. I love it. It's like that record, like when I heard the record the first time, I was like, what is this? And then, something I know that you know this, and the quality is still amazing. The way they record these records, they don't sound dated. They sound so hip, because they were doing it analog and with the console and SSL board and millions of dollars of gear. Now GarageBand, someone can make a record in the house. That's not gonna sound the same.
Right? It's not gonna sound
That's very true.
I'm sorry. Sorry, GarageBand. Hope I don't get banned.
Your video has been taken down.
Guys, I love GarageBand.
But no, you're so right. It's like when I listen to like especially these bands like Steely Dan or Genesis, I can't believe how they did all this analog without monitors.
Yes,
there were no time,
and there was so many.
There was no. They didn't have like screens to like see and paste and copy and all that stuff. So it's genius, and I'm so happy that you learned it that way. And
you have to play together. You have to be, what you do is like, even when we were recording the records in the 90s with Al, we had to play, and you can't, Pro Tools, auto-tune or anything like that. You have to really, like, that's what I think the musicianship then in the 70s was so high, because for you to get noticed by a label, you have to really be really good, and there's very few that can make it. And it was very selective, and the bands that came out, that's what they still around us, because they were so unique and so powerful that I think it would be very difficult to find another Genesis now or something. Or I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of talent in the world right now, and a lot of kids that
there are,
But I always say to everybody, who is watching, play the better, the more you play, the more you practice, the better you're gonna sound. And that's actually something that technology will help you, But if you're gonna rely only on the technology, it's
Mhm.
not gonna be. It's not gonna have the content, you know.
Yes,
That's so
it's not going to
true.
be as rich. That's
Yeah.
so true. Have you ever given lessons to anyone ever?
I'm a terrible teacher because I have no patience. I'm a Gemini, and I'm like, do it. And I don't know I don't care. So I'm like a horrible teacher. So I don't think any student will deserve me as a
Some people just know, I guess, how to teach, and you need a lot of
Right.
patience. I've
Yes.
tried to teach her, but she's very talented. But she's just like, I guess you don't have your patience.
I don't
with
have
yourself.
the patience with myself.
So
either,
I'm kind of,
so-
I am a patient person, but then when you lose your patience, then I'm like, well, okay, because she is talented. I remember when I first grabbed the guitar, I was like, beam, beam, like with one finger, and she was like, cuatro dedos, luego, like I was like, what are you doing? Yeah, I like the guitar, and then she's like, oh, it hurt my fingertips, and I'm like, okay, I'll get you a bass. And then we have the bass.
But I love the bass because of that. It doesn't hurt, and I like the sound
You like the
a lot more. I like that deepness. And now, since going back to like listening to music and being able to identify it, I can fish out a bass line now pretty much in any song. I can identify the like what's here, and separate it, and then say, wow, it's going so well together. So
even I think
Chick the bass to me is the best, you know. I mean, come on.
Of course.
It sounds so good.
It's the best.
Also, when you like listen live to live music, the bass is like in your body. It's like,
yes.
You know, it's the frequency of the bass, because I know a little about sound, but it's like, especially 4-string basses, because when you go to 6-string, it's too deep and it goes too low. But when you play like for instance, Jaco, right? I mean, they're so warm. It's like it's the mid frequency that it goes right into your stomach that makes you feel good. You know, when you hear a bass, it's just right here. You know.
That's exactly what I like. And this last time, the last concert that we saw was at Red Rocks. Have you ever been to Red Rocks before?
I play there. That's what I
wanted to
hear.
You know.
Tell
what
us.
Can I say about?
Because I was going to say how it felt from the other side, that it was just magical watching, because when you're on top, you can see the stage at the bottom, and then right above the stage, like the horizon with the sprinkling city lights, and the sun was setting, and it was a beautiful sunset, and everything's pink and purple. So how is it from down there looking up to all of this?
Also, the you know, the way it's set up, it's like it's perfect acoustic. It's like it's got the L shape. Like I play in places also, like I'm gonna play now in Limassol in Cyprus. It's an ancient theater called Ephes and Alcurio, I'm sorry, and it was built for people to speak 2,000 years ago.
Exactly.
So when you play there, the PA, you gotta be very careful. You gotta tell the sound engineer, don't blast this because you're gonna bounce. So you gotta kind of be kind of acoustic, you know, because it's incredibly the sound. Same with the Red Rocks. If you blasting the sound too much, it's gonna like bounce all over the place, and it's gonna be weird. So
that must be really cool.
So
and so what's your next? You're on tour now, right? So what's your next upcoming show?
Well, this week I'm playing a few shows in New York, and the tour in Europe starts on July 12th.
Okay.
I'm flying to Lithuania with this band called Strings and Air. It's like a string quartet with me and a saxophone player, Kęstutis Vaiginis. He's from Lithuania. He's incredible. He's like Jan Garbarek. He's like Michael Berg. And we're doing 3 concerts in Lithuania, in castles and very beautiful, like ruins, like, you know, like really ancient, like unbelievable places. I'm gonna try to post it. And
I was gonna say, you better be posting all of this on your stories, because
I'm gonna take my phone with it.
Now that I'm trying to be more active on social media, I'm like also looking at other people's stories. So I hope you post some of that. That's really, really awesome. Amazing. And how long are you on tour for?
Well, this is it's gonna be like almost a month. So it's gonna 1 week in Lithuania, then I fly to Cyprus and I do a week in Cyprus, which is it's a beautiful island, you know, it's like Greek, you know, also. And then I end up I finish the tour in Spain, in Barcelona. I'm doing 2 concerts with Rodrigo González Panek from Uruguay, an incredible piano player, very talented, and that's it. So I'll come back. I'll finish on August 9th. So
wow.
Looking forward.
Yes.
That's so cool. And is there some music we can hear that you're gonna play, or is this a new project?
No, yeah, I'm gonna play some music from all the records that
Okay.
and like songs from Live in Trinity Church, the live record I did. So right now, songs like that, and then something from Un Segundo de Vida. I'm gonna probably play that song, and some songs from Personal too. Just like I wanna do, and then the only thing I would probably play that is not mine is El Concierto Aranjuez. Just like I love that.
That's beautiful.
Nick loves that.
I'm a big fan of like classical, like guitar, like John Williams, and like the way he interprets all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but man.
Yeah.
So, and when are you coming to Denver?
Oh, immediately. I mean, right after, I think we should get together and go out to eat, the three of us.
Yes.
We should have like schnitzel and then tacos night.
Yeah. Yes. We know some good Mexican places. We haven't found any good German food, but
no.
I can always make some for you when you come to the house.
But then again,
I
German,
love schnitzel.
Yeah, schnitzel, Wiener Schnitzel, and but you're good. You've done some schnitzel in your life for me, and that's very good. I can't complain.
That's very good. That's very good.
So this tour is not going to be like super long, but I was curious, like, out of the tours that you've done, like, what's the longest one, and how was it being away from home for so long?
Because back in the days, we used to tour for like 6 months. And it was like when I was recording, we were doing the project with Antonio. I was telling you that they did the reunion record. It's called the Guitar Trio. It's the last studio record they did, and I was involved with helping with the production with Al, and we decided to do it in Real World Studios. In England, in Bath, because it was like we were talking with that, well, we should do it and we should go away, because when you go away and you're like in a farm in England, you're gonna get a lot of work done, because you're not distracted. You're not recording in London or New York City, that So we were there for like 3 months almost, and of course Peter Gabriel was there, and I was like, wow.
Tell him that story. Tell the audience the story that you.
Yes, please.
Well, Peter was like having dinner with us and playing ping pong with Al, and I was like,
wow.
Then it was a night that these guys came in, and some cars, and it was like Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford and Trevor Horn. They were doing this song called Carpet Crawlers, but they remix it.
I love that song.
So I was with Al, and we listened from the window. I was like, what is this? And Paco was like, what are these guys? What are these people? He didn't know the word. I was saying, oh my God, Paco, Genesis is like, and Al knew, of course, and we were like, they would, at that particular time they were there, and I called my mom, and I said, Mom, I'm having dinner with Peter Gabriel. And she's like, what? The guy from the poster? It's like, yes.
Yeah.
I had that poster in my room when I was like a kid. I had the poster of Seconds Out, which I love that photo.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, it was really surreal to be there and to experience that. Then recorded in Abbey Road too, which is great.
Abbey Road, that's where the Beatles.
Of course.
Oh my God. Wow.
We did a record with that called In My Life. I think it was we did it in Abbey Road, Studio 3. They did Dark Side of the Moon there. I was touching the walls. I was touching everything.
Wow.
To take it in, right?
Sacred ground,
Yeah.
And I was like, we were like 2 kids, and like, because it was like unbelievable. The sound is actually, you can tell that the difference when you play in a room and it's something, it's the circuitry or the microphones that they use. So it's just incredible. You can't replicate that.
I can just imagine, like, my skin is crawling. I can imagine that feeling, and especially you, who you, as a child and growing up, you admired these artists, and then being able
to dream, because I dreamed this and they happen. And I think when you dream something and you work on it, it'll happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So dream about winning the lotto, and then you'll get it.
Yeah, but you have to play the lotto too, right?
Yeah, no, I never played it in my life.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is so cool. Well, this is so awesome to be able to just sit here and share time with you. And there's so many like different things that we want to talk about, and just it's awesome. Like, I want to know, when you were talking about how the reason that you create music is to get that response from the audience of, wow, when was, like, when you say that, what moment do you have in mind? Was there a specific performance that you can say, oh man, that time when we were here? Or is it just now like a blur and a combination?
You know, it's funny because I play like in countries like Lithuania, right? They don't speak Spanish at all. And I sing in Spanish, right? So I had people coming to me saying, like, listen, I don't know what you were singing about, but I felt it. And I was like, and that to me, it was like, okay, we are from complete different backgrounds and cultures, and they got it. They somehow, music is like an universal language. I think, like even when Nick was doing the, I think it was when a Permithini song, it was very hard, and it was like just vocalists, you know, like.
Have you heard? Yeah.
Have you heard? Awesome, dog. Which is like, but that's like, it was like, okay, you don't need lyrics sometimes. I do write lyrics, but I mean, sometimes music is just has its own story. So to me, to be able to communicate with people, like even when I played in Russia or countries like that, so foreign to or Japan, and they get it, you feel almost like a little bit like an ambassador of that. You feel like you can bring peace to the world. You know, I would love to I would love to say to all the people that are fighting right now, say, guys, listen to music, let's grab each other. Just let me play you something.
I know. That's so true.
Like, art is my weapon, you know what I mean? Just put, you know, I'm a fan of humanity, you know. I want people to get along, and you know, I know that it's hard, but hey, I'll like trying, you know.
No, and that's exactly how we are. We're both Libras, so we're all about like equality and justice, and we all want everyone to get along all the time. We always try
when people fight, like we're always trying. That's like the typical Libra trait, right?
Just wanting like everyone to get along and just be happy. So that's beautiful. That really is like, must be an awesome feeling to just say.
And just like you said, that they don't speak, they don't understand Spanish, but they understand what the emotion of the music. They get it, they feel it, because music is such, like you said, it's a tool. And like you said, art is my weapon, you know, and to do good, you know. That's
Listen, you guys were doing it with you guys. One of my favorite that you guys did was I think it was a Johnny Mitchell song or something, and Nick was crying, and I was like,
a case of you,
know what?
probably.
No, but I do the same thing. I mean, you know, that's so to see that, to me was like, well, okay, this is some serious, because like I say, you see a lot of people doing reactions and whatever. Yeah. But when I saw you guys so legit and so real and so like you feel like you actually get in there with you know, because
I love that.
To me, that was like the game changer there, right there, because I said these guys are really sensitive and your backgrounds and everything, and I was like, and that's beautiful, you know, I mean, to hear. I mean, Johnny Mitchell gets me every time. I mean, I can't.
Oh yes, me too. That's why I'm always hesitant to do the
whenever we
reaction,
get a request,
because I'm like,
for
she's
Johnny
gonna
Mitchell
make me cry when she sings. She has just a certain way of doing the music, and then when she did that high note, I was like, and at first it evokes like a euphoria and a giggle, and people were like, why is he laughing?
Oh yeah, a lot of people got angry at him because he was like,
because I first like kind of like it comes like and I want to like hold
a reflex
back, and then I just like,
yeah, because he goes.
And a lot of people stopped watching when he started like
because
giggling
they thought
and laughing.
I was making fun.
Yeah, and we had to put a pinned comment on there and say, listen, like,
it's because it's like a reflex that I have. It happens when I hear scores, and that's what I wanted to also ask you, since you know how to compose like a score. But I guess maybe that's for the next time, because it's very complex to talk about like composition, and a score is like all these instruments, you know. Yes. But I mean, but it happens sometimes we watch a movie and then she looks over, are you crying? And
because I can hear like.
Oh yeah, I cry all the time.
Oh, okay.
It's just like with like, I know like with stuff like Hans Zimmer, Like when we saw As Good as It Gets, every
Oh my
time it
gosh.
gets me that music. It's very simple, but it's just so. And acting also. Sometimes when we see movies, we're very like, I don't know,
Chillones.
chillones. Chillones is like
Crybabies.
crybabies, yeah. But it's just like I love art, and it just gets me. You know,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Imagine watching a movie with no music. It will not happen. You will not get
No.
that feeling. But if you put the minute that you put the
Well,
music,
have you seen No Country for Old Men?
I
with-
love that movie.
Did you know it has no score? There's
Not
no
enough.
music.
Yeah, that's
and
but that's. I think they
that's
used wind
something.
and they used the shots.
But Bandera, that is actor, man.
Javier
Oh,
Bardem.
he's so
good.
He killed it.
He
man.
is
killed
the
it.
He's
is
killing, and
amazing.
also his accent. I don't know how he does it. He sounds
I was
American.
gonna say
Yeah.
the accent is amazing. Yeah. And when
Great
The one
movie.
that scene with the coin.
the coin toss.
Oh my god, that I get se me enchina la piel. Like, I
Don't
get
put it
like
in your
goosebumps.
pocket. Don't put it in your pocket.
Yeah. Yes.
Otherwise, it'll become any other coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Don't do
another
that.
coin, and then he looks at him like that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
good.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Are you also a movie fan too?
Movie. I think I get inspired by movies. You know, it's to me, I mean, such a movie. I mean, I don't know. I just so many great movies that change your life. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so it's really great.
Yeah.
I saw just an interview. This director, and he said my favorite movie is The Graduate, and I was
Wow.
like, that's her favorite movie.
Mhm.
So I was like, that, and he's like, I felt like, what's his name from The Graduate?
Dustin
Al Pacino?
Hoffman.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin, he's like, oh, I just felt like Dustin Hoffman at the end in the bus when it's
Mhm.
like my life
Yeah.
goes on, you know,
Yes.
into the future.
Mhm.
So that, and I was like, I thought of you, of course. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched that movie, it wasn't even over, and I was just like, "This is my favorite movie." I don't want it to be over, and then, but
you
I
wanna
already
watch it
know
again
that
already.
it's
You
can
evoking
watch it.
everything that I
Every time you
want.
watch it, you find something different, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
same with me. I mean, I watch movies so many times, and like, you know, then I discovered new things, and I know lines. I learned the
Mhm. Oh
lines.
yeah. Of
Platoon. I
course.
have so many lines from Platoon. It's unbelievable.
Ooh, it's a good. We love Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
Anything like Oliver Stone, and then of course, the guy who did The Godfather. What's his name? Francis Ford.
Oh, Coppola. Yeah.
Like Apocalypse Now is just the shots. It's just without special effects, and it's just
Mhm.
amazing. Like
Yeah.
It really
I
is.
remember when I told you I think that's my favorite movie.
Yeah.
But
I
what
remember.
it used to be Shawshank Redemption,
Mhm.
and you know, and
Great.
like it's a great film.
Great movie.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we have also that in common.
Yeah, we
yeah.
could talk about movies all day. And like I was saying earlier, we're collectors. We love to now have the CDs, but when we met, we had each like our own
DVD collection.
and it was huge.
We put them together.
And then his was huge, and I'm like, oh my God, what are we gonna do with all these movies? But that was something that was so great because so many people were just like, oh, ¿para qué la compras? Like, why would you buy it? Just like rent it. And I'm like,
we would always
I
have
wanna
this
own it.
tradition. We had
So
like
I
this
can watch it
tradition
whenever I
to
want.
go movie hunt. We would go
Mhm.
to shops
I
and
love
like,
that.
you know,
Mhm.
and it was so much fun. And now it's like you can't. It's
Yeah.
like because everything is digital. I
Mhm.
mean, you
Everything is
go-
digital. Yeah.
I
Everything
know.
is like.
So sad. But wow.
Same with not being able to go to the record store and
Yeah.
like swim through records.
Yeah.
I think I'm a believer that things will change. You know what I mean? I am. I'm thinking about doing some crazy stuff for the next album or something, and just you know like give more. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna come out with a cassette and
Yes.
and I don't know and
Ooh, we have to have
Well,
them.
we can play it in here.
yes, and I think I'm gonna exactly. I remember the Walkman.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can play it in here,
Do you
or
still know how to open it?
we can play it here.
Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. I mean, this
Look
is
at
the
that.
perfect media.
Yep.
It's
Perfect.
a beautiful thing.
It never
Look at-
like no se echa a perder, like it doesn't break. I mean, you really have to try hard, you know.
Yeah.
And
I
it doesn't. You can't delete it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't uninstall it. It's
You know what's great about that, Nicky? The sound on that Dolby is something warm about it. And I was thinking about maybe I come out and I include a little player and I get them from China super cheap, you know.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
we would buy it immediately.
Yes.
Like,
But are you working on an album right now then? Is that okay?
I've been working on the new album for since the pandemic started.
Okay.
And I don't have a deadline, but I have maybe like 50 songs I've been working on. But this one is gonna be with an orchestra for sure, because I've been writing a lot of stuff. I mean, I write for a chamber orchestra and with flamenco guitar, and I think it's becoming now closer. I think realistically next year we'll have it, and it's gonna be, I think, maybe a double record too, because it's gonna be really, so.
That's awesome.
Well,
Did you find
we're gonna keep an eye on this like hawks.
Yes.
And
please, everyone who's watching, of course, it goes without saying, please follow Hernán. We'll put all of his links to all of his music, and please support him and what he's doing. And obviously now you know you're supporting an amazing person too, not just a great musician. So please do that. But did you find like inspiration in the pandemic? Did it affect your creativity, or did you
for
find
sure
more?
but, yeah, for sure. First of all, being locked up in my house, which is like, I'm not gonna say locked up, but I mean, I spent these last 2 years in my home, and I love it because, like I said, I've been always on the road, and just spend time with the family and everything is so great, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it grounds you also. I'm not saying it just makes you humble, you know, como que te pone más humilde, you know, like, because like we are so small, and we complain, and then all of a sudden, you know, life takes you into this that you have to adapt, and it was actually an eye opener. And my favorite thing was like when there was no planes and the sky was so clean. I was like, wow, look at what happened. Maybe this is, I mean, you know, something. I always try to look at the good, even when the bad is, you know.
That's amazing. I love that, because that outlook on life, if everybody was like that, we would be so much happier.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. Because we are
we bonded a lot in the
pandemic. Definitely. And we are always of the belief that if it wasn't supposed to happen, it wouldn't have happened. So that's kind of what you're saying too, is just take it for what it is and try to find the good in it. And look, you started having all of these ideas and recording songs for an album.
And you bonding with people, like, you know, I think it makes you stronger as a human race. I mean, I think we're going to be stronger. We're going to be better. We're going to be more careful, and we're going to be more appreciated of what we have, because you know, don't complain so much about the trivial stuff that is not really important, you know.
Exactly.
Totally,
Yes,
totally.
definitely. Well, that is so great. Do you have a name for your new album? Have you thought about that yet, or no?
No.
Am I hitting a rough spot?
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I will have to drink a couple of bottles to get it. But you know what? It's funny because with names of the albums, it's like that's the last thing that comes into my head, because it's like almost like I don't want to put a name on an album. That's what when I named the record Personal, es como que, because I play most of the instruments, I was like, I don't know. There's some great names, like, you know, Selling England by the Pound. What a name. I wish I come up with some name like that. But I mean, you know, Un Segundo Una Vida, I think is a cool name.
I love that name. Yeah.
But, you know, it happened. Maybe I said, you know, I go for walks, and ideas come up, and I do a lot of voice memos. And sometimes, you know, some word will come up or something.
I do that too, the voice memos.
Yeah. You like me, and you are brothers.
Yeah, we're like,
you are.
Yes, we do have a lot in common.
Nick and I were like, we gotta hang out, bro. I mean, I would make a trip.
Definitely.
I'll go to see you in Colorado.
Please come.
Yes.
Aquí tienes tu casa.
Sí, aquí.
Really, our house is open for you anytime.
I'm sure I would love to play there.
We could do a reaction video together.
Ay, güey.
That would be great. That would be great.
Something we have never heard, like any of us. Like, there must be some music we've never heard.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much, and then that would be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be so great. I want to announce something to all of you who are watching. I just found out, and Nick just found out that if you've seen that reaction before, where Nick is surprising me with a song, and he showed it to me blindly, and he never even put the title in the description or anything. So he showed me a song from Orange and Blue from Aldi Meola.
And Hernán is singing on the song. So.
Yeah, and he made me guess who was the singer of the song. And
no, it was basically who is the guitar player, because he sounds a lot like Pat Metheny, the style.
Yeah.
And then Hernán was singing, and then you sounded a little bit like
Pedro Aznar.
The style.
My guess was Pedro Aznar.
And then I was like, who is singing? And you said, well, I guess it's Pedro.
And I'm like, okay, the guitar sounds a little bit like Pat. The singing sounds like Pedro. So I'm gonna say Pat Metheny. But part of me was like,
because of the
Aldi
palm
Meola,
muting.
because of the staccato playing and the palm muting of the guitar. But then I'm like, Pedro Aznar and Aldi Meola, like, I don't think they've done anything together. But it was Hernán singing on there. Woo!
Yeah.
And we're both Argentinians. We're both from Argentina.
Yeah. And now that you say that the same person that introduced you to Al introduced him to Pat, is like, wow, that is
Pablo Aslan. Yeah.
Wow.
It's fun.
Shout out to him, like, for creating this bond. So
yeah, it's like life intervenes, It's just so cool. Like the same. I was watching you guys, and I was like, man. And now we're talking, and it's like how things happen, and I'm a believer that you can make things happen in your life.
Absolutely.
Go for it, that's for sure.
That's so great.
So one question that I had really quickly, so do you usually just play acoustic, or do you sometimes also say, I'm gonna play some electric? How do you?
I do play electric too. I love playing electric. I have tons of electric guitars. I have Les Paul, and I love my Fender. And I don't know if you can see it from me. So I'm sure you will.
Nick wants a Les Paul finally. He's like, I think I'm ready for one.
Yeah.
Se ve chido el Al, ¿no?
Can I bring it? I want to bring it up.
Of course.
Yeah, I was like, I think I'm ready now to finally hold a Les Paul, because it was all
heavy. You waste a ton.
Look at that. Wow.
It's a 76 Les Paul Deluxe.
Wow.
It weighs like a ton. I mean, to play this and hold it, it's just like so heavy, but they give the tone, the sound. This is what Steve Hackett has in that.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Sound. This is what he plays, but it's beautiful. And my friend Mo, is a great guitar. He restored it and he put all the original pickups and everything. So now it's really
wow.
Everything's original now.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
That's an amazing instrument.
You get a Les Paul, Nick, you like never go. I mean,
and I never go back,
And for him to say that the other day, I was like, oh wow, really?
Yeah, because I've always played Ibanez, Fender,
Charvel,
Charvel, yeah. And then I was like, I can't, because I was like, have you ever seen like Jimi Hendrix with a Les Paul? It would look weird. Or Jimmy Page with a Fender. It doesn't add up.
Right.
And I was like, right? And or like I don't know, like Steve Vai with a Les
Aldi Meola.
Aldi Meola. Always Les Paul. Always right? Les Paul. So I can't even think Aldi Meola with a Fender. It would look kind of weird. It doesn't fit to his body. So but I was like, I think now I'm finally ready to play a Les Paul. It's so
it's beautiful.
It looks classy.
Yeah, it's just when you go through a Marshall with it, it's just the tone is amazing. Yeah. And in that record, personal, I play a song and I use this one, and I love it. But the things I play with my fingers, so it's the different. I don't have the pick, so I don't have But I'm more like an acoustic player, but I love to play electric.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna ask you another question, because we do talk about a lot of guitar players, and like, so who would you consider your favorite player?
Well, to me the technical the technical Paco is amazing. I love Al. Al is one of my favorite. I'm not saying because I work with him. I'm so close to him. Like he's a monster, Exactly. And I like Metheny, and I like Hackett from Genesis. I love Dave Gilmour. I love Hendrix.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
We need to get into Jimi Hendrix. Have you noticed we don't have any Hendrix reactions or anything?
It's crazy. And so this is like a drinking game, Hernán. So every time I mention this man, people are like, It's like a drinking game. So what do you think about Alan Holdsworth? Like,
Salud. I'm just kidding.
salud, salud.
Alan Holmes was one of those guys that you know, of course, like really open and really ethereal. I love Alan. I mean, I think he's very underrated. Not many people knows him. Like the same with Zappa. I mean, you know, Zappa was great.
Yes, I know.
But not my cup of tea. Because I like more articulate players that play like more like, you know, every note.
Right.
But I like Alan's like chord stuff.
Yes.
You know,
Because he's more like legato, right? He doesn't sound
very
like
legato.
You don't. It's not very percussive. His playing is very, and a lot of people have that problem. They're like, I don't know what I'm. He sounds more like a sax player. I think.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
He sounds more like there's no.
He doesn't want it to sound like a guitar.
Yeah. He has even said like, yeah, I don't like the guitar. I just use it to create the music, but I would rather play the sax, but I can't. So I use the guitar to basically make it
imitate.
So
right.
But yeah,
it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I like his chords are just amazing. But I've always wanted to learn flamenco, but I think flamenco is the hardest music to master. I mean, as a guitar player myself, I've tried, but it's really nobody like, you know, of course, but I mean, just that it's just the hardest music for me. Like, and I've read articles that it's just, if you know how to play flamenco, you can play anything.
Well, it's funny because a lot of I love metal, right? I met many metal guitar players. They got some Sepultura, you know, I know them well, and they like you are metal, because flamenco is kind of metal.
Yeah,
it's very
percussive,
and fast. So if you put a Marshall into that will become like flamenco, you know. And I named this song on one of my records called Flamenco because it was so like super fast, you know.
Yeah.
And it is like very technical, and I like to explore and open it up more with the harmony, like, you know, like because it's the flamenco traditional, it's kind of like limited in terms of that. And I'm not traditional at all. I love breaking the rules. Sometimes they go like, that guy. But it's the way I feel it, you know.
But then keep doing that, because we just saw an interview of Steven Wilson where he said, in the music industry, do everything that they tell you not to do. Explore that more, because that's what's going to make you unique, and that's what's going to make you stand out. So when they tell you not to do something, you still do it. Right? You still say yes.
Of course, you have
I'm such a rebel. I'm terrible. You tell me not to, don't do this, and I do it just more, you know.
Yeah. Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do this?
I was gonna put these on because I saw an interview of you a few years ago where you had these glasses on the whole interview, and I thought that was so cool.
Well, because it was in the morning and I was so wasted from that.
I was gonna ask you why you were wearing
them. Me voy a poner los lentes así como Hernán para que se ría, ¿no?
I love it. Alexa, you're the best. I gotta put this. Oh, she wants to see something, Professor.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, I love it. Now Nick's turn.
Oh, I can see you now.
Yes. Oh my God.
Hi.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Nick.
That's so sad.
Before it was just like a blur.
Yeah, it just looked like a chair, and now it turned into a human being.
That's so sad. I'm proud to say I have 20/20 vision. I've never known.
Nosotros también.
I've never known what it's like not to be able to see, and I can only imagine how frustrating that is.
I'm 100 years old, and the thing is that I only use it when I read, but you know, that's why I don't read anymore.
Right. No, but I have to put him on now to see the phone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you know, you can make the phones very big. Like
it's already very big.
Nick, someone like in another block can read my text.
Yeah, literally. You have to be like, okay, they're gonna be like behind me. If somebody stands behind me, they're gonna see the whole conversation.
That's exactly what your phone looks like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Oh, that dog is so cute. Look at that.
Oh, that's Marley.
Marley, come here.
Marley, what's up?
Yeah, he's a little boy. He is literally very sweet. I just
He
bathed
loves
him literally. Yeah.
being loved, and do you have any pets, Hernan?
I lost my one. I mean, I had a chocolate lab for 12 years. Look at that face. And those are angels that we have in our life.
Yes, he is.
Definitely.
We say that all the time, and we always he's very spoiled, but he's a very good dog, so he deserves it. You know?
All that like growling he does, it's just show. It literally does. He would never dare to bite.
Yeah.
He's such a...
Oh, I'm sorry you lost yours.
Yeah, you know, it's like life. But I mean, you know, I'm ready for another one. I've been already. It's been a few years now, so I think I'm ready.
Yes, you definitely should.
My son just got a Cocker Spaniel, and we want to kidnap that dog.
That's awesome. Yeah, we always say how pets are just truly angels that
they love you, they die for you. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, and us as humans, it is, for me, it's always been a brave act to take in an animal, because I mean, you never know, right, what's going to happen. Something could happen tomorrow to one of us, if it is our time, but you basically go into this commitment and this relationship knowing that you're going to outlive them, and that's very brave, you know,
because I've told us sometimes, like, what are we gonna do when the day comes that he goes? I'm like, oh my god. She's like, don't even. We like start to cry. You know?
I know.
Like,
but you know, just enjoy your life, enjoy them as much as possible, and that's great.
Yeah, well, you need to get another dog. Maybe to celebrate your new album, you can get another dog.
I think by next year I have another. I have a new pool now, so that's
awesome.
that was. So you know, it's super hot. I don't know how the weather is, but New York is being beautiful summer right now. It's like the weather.
It's been nice, right?
Yeah,
it's been very hot.
It's been 80s, 90s here.
Yeah,
it's been a little bit cloudy, but tomorrow's supposed to be super sunny, and but we always. Yes. Do you have any plans for the 4th?
I'm gonna have a party with some friends and my brother.
Nice.
Pool party. You can come if you take a flight tonight.
Nick has never been to New York, Hernán.
Oh, come on.
He's never been.
Like I said, mi casa es su casa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And your house is my house.
Exactly. So now you have a house in Colorado.
Yeah. We have move in. No, you don't want me to move in.
Oh man, this has been so much fun. Truly an honor to spend this time with you, and it really feels like we're spending time with a friend we've known for a long time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Honestly, I'm not BSing you. I'm a big fan. I love what you do, and I'm so happy I hooked up with you guys, because you do it for real. You know, I mean, it's legit. You know, and it's really, I don't know, it's very special. Please don't stop, because we need you. We need you so bad. It's like really.
Well, so nice. Please don't stop your amazing music, and everyone, please check out Hernán's. We'll leave all of his links and everything. In the description. We'll be doing some reactions too.
We should post the tour right after the video. We can post the tour, and everything is going to be in the description. Your website and your social media. And
yes,
so
please.
You don't be prepared to receive some new fans.
Hint, everyone. No, just kidding. But no, honestly, you please don't stop creating the amazing music that you're creating.
I mean, it's like you're a world-class musician. I mean, like, just guys, like, everybody listen to Hernán and enjoy, because this is not cualquier música.
Yes. Any
musician. This is
average.
This is quality.
Y para nuestros amigos argentinos, por favor, apoyen, que ustedes siempre aguante, Hernan Romero, chingados.
Vamos arriba.
Sí, claro.
But thank you so much for this. It's truly been amazing. We can't wait to meet you in person, and thank you for spending this time with us, and really for all of your kind words and support.
Thank you so much.
It's been amazing.
Un gusto para mí.
Ay, gracias. All right. Well, until we see you in the next one.
Bye.
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 Bye. Ciao.